Hello friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Today is a big pantry restock day for me of my dry good mixes. I do this so many times that I don't show you guys, but I always keep my pantry stocked with things like brownie mix, muffin mixes, cornbread mix, cake mixes, things like that. So that if, last minute I decide to make a dessert or somebody shows up, unexpected company, I can whip down cookie mixes, things like that, grab and not have to make a big mess and, just add the wet ingredients. And a lot of times, like on our family dinner days, we've got a lot of other prep going on that not having to break out all the like baking ingredients. A lot of times I don't have the counter space for that because I do have a small kitchen, and this is basically the counter working space that's often used for like dinner and things like that. So if I just have a bunch of dry mixes prepped and ready to go, it's really simple for me to throw together those quick desserts or sides. So today I'm doing restocking my cornbread mix, doing my yellow cake mix, a blueberry muffin mix, my brownie mix, and I think that's it. I do still have one cookie mix down there. I would like to have more cookie mixes prepped and ready, but we can save that for another day. And this is something fun to give you guys little inspirational ideas or whatever. If you'd like to do gift baskets of homemade goodies for Christmas, I've done like my cornbread mix with like taco soup in a basket, or chili and some beans. So it's just a fun thing that while it's not quite the busy chaos of the holiday season, you can take a rainy, cloudy day or whatever and sit down and just get your mixes knocked out. So that's what I'm doing mainly for our own pantry and use. And this should get us a few months into the winter and be good to go. So for the cornbread mix, we're doing a cup of cornmeal, a cup of flour, just all-purpose flour, and half a cup of sugar. This is a sweet cornbread, which my family prefers. Two tablespoons of baking powder. And for this, I'm using not self-rising cornmeal. It is just plain cornmeal. And half a teaspoon of salt. That's it. Now, I'm going to fill up the rest of these jars the exact same way. I'm going to label the lid, and what you would want to do when you're making it is add 4 tablespoons of melted butter and 2 eggs and 2/3 cup of buttermilk. You could use plain milk too. So I'm going to go ahead and make my assembly line now that I've shared that one with you, and get the rest of these knocked out. All right, all the cornbreads are done. We're moving on to the yellow cake mix. I need my funnel. So that is 2 1/4 cups of flour. And then we need 1 1/2 cups of sugar. You might have to pack it down. Let me get something so I'm not banging for you guys. Alrighty. And then we're going to go in with some baking powder. That's 1 tablespoon. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. All right, so I'm going to do that 4 times and we'll have all of our yellow cake mixes made. And when it comes time to use this, you would mix together 10 tablespoons of melted butter, 3 large eggs, 1 1/4 cups of milk, and 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And mix that all up and you've got a much healthier version of anything that you are going to find at in a box at the store. So homemade, from scratch, yellow cake, just like that. So I'm going to do the same thing, run through my jars and get these all filled up. While I pause and restock my baking soda, baking powder. I thought this is another example of having a well-stocked pantry. I've been up and down those stairs. I should just bring the buckets up with the flour and sugar. I've had to refill my sugar jar and refill my flour jar like twice during this process. Alrighty. So now we're moving on to blueberry muffin mix. And the nice thing about this, and I get that I might be unique from some of you guys, is I have freeze-dried blueberries. Maybe you have dehydrated blueberries, but I use our freeze-dried blueberries in the muffin mix. It's just a nice way to have it like shelf stable and ready. So get those opened. And what we're going to be going in with versus me kind of telling while I'm scooping, if you want to jot this down, I'm using 1 1/2 cups of blueberries, a cup in it. Yeah, because freeze-dried, they don't really shrink on you. Dehydrated, they would shrink on you, right? So not, if you're using dehydrated, you wouldn't use 1 1/2 cups, maybe 3/4 of a cup. And I'm going in with a cup of sugar, 2 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a tablespoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so let's get started on that process. I always like to start with my flour. So what was that again? 2 1/2 cups of flour. And you guys can pick and choose the recipes that you like. You're not limited to what I'm showing you here today. So for example, my cornbread mix is a copycat of Jiffy mix, cornbread mix, only healthier, right? This is a copycat of the Starbucks recipe. The yellow cake mix, I don't know, I just went and found a yellow cake mix online. But if you have a favorite, say Duncan Hines or something like that, go Google what is that recipe or try to find your best knockoff version of the recipe that you like. Maybe it's your own homemade recipe. And you can do the same. Just have all your dry ingredients prepped and ready. And then when it comes time to bake it, you're ready to just like dump and mix and go. All right, are you guys still with me? Doesn't that look exciting? A lot of jars to go on the shelves. We're gonna wrap up with some good brownie mix, and this is a fudgy brownie. It's not a cakey brownie, my recipe. So you'll want to adjust according to what recipe you like. I'm going in with first 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. And I'm gonna do these similarly, where I'm not dipping in the cocoa and then the flour. So I'm gonna just do all the flours, all the sugars, and then add the cocoa. And this one you could do in smaller jars if you left out the chocolate chips. But like I said, I like to not have to think about it. Very little, you know, just like a convenience of a box mix. It's ready and you just add the wet ingredients and you're good to go. Spilled some. Okay. Now we're gonna go in with 1.5 cups of sugar. No, 1.25 cups of sugar. Note to self, we need more sugar in our bucket downstairs. Still good on flour. Need to add cocoa to the list, shopping list, because I'm probably gonna use a lot of it today. What'd I say, 1.25? And what else did I think? Oh, baking powder. Brought up my last jar of baking powder. So we need to restock. So we keep that well-stocked pantry going. 1.25. If you have kids, this would be a fun thing to do. Have them each responsible for an ingredient. Make yourself an assembly line and knock them out. Okay, now for the cocoa powder, we need 1/2 cup of cocoa. Break into our backup cocoa. This Anthony's cocoa is my favorite, but we do have our Aldi's for backup. Just look at the difference in color. Really rich. All right, and then 1/8 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And similarly, I'll give you other ideas how you can jazz this up, right? You could put nuts in it, you could put M&Ms in it, you could add espresso powder to it. You'll see I don't have enough chocolate chips, I don't think, so I have a mix of chocolate chips and butterscotch chips that I'll use if I need to. And 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. Maybe we'll have enough. Not quite enough. So let's go and just top it off with these. Alrighty. And there we go. Now to make this, and then this one makes a really cute gift. To make this, and if you wanted just the right size jar, it would be one of those 1.5 jars, would fit it perfectly. To make it, you're gonna add 8 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 large eggs, and a teaspoon of vanilla. I'll tell you, I love to use part vanilla, part coffee extract when I make anything chocolate, and it's excellent. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna get off camera for a minute, get all these you know, lids on and rings on, and then we'll go downstairs and fill up our pantry. How about that? Okay, let's get my little grocery haul from upstairs put down here, and let's see where to set you guys. I'll just set you right here for now, because I need to offload a little bit so I can put my bag down. I did leave one cornbread mix upstairs because that is the most frequently used items, but it feels so good to have this done. I thought to tell you while I was labeling it, that copycat Jiffy recipe, it's like as if you were using 2 boxes. So it makes a dozen muffins or a large you know, skillet cornbread. So we usually use it when people are over. All right, cornbread. Is that cornbread? I thought I left a cornbread up there. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I left a yellow cake mix. I use that probably second most. And quick, like grab a jar of, do I have one here? Of blueberry pie filling. Dump it in a pie plate. Sprinkle some of that yellow cake mix over it, like dump style cobbler. And we use that a lot. You guys can't even see what I'm doing. But this is my dry good recipe thing, and there was only one cookie mix left. Alright, blueberry, alrighty, and brownie. I know I didn't share all the specifics like temperature and all of that. What I'll do is I'll try my best to, in the description, leave the recipe details in the description for you guys if you want the specifics, like what to preheat your oven at, how long to bake it, that kind of stuff. But mostly this video is for inspiration. What are those common everyday run to the grocery store, get some mixes that you keep on your pantry shelf? It might be something like taco seasoning mix, or you know, that Knorr soup seasoning mix. I know I use that a lot. How can you make that at home healthier for you, save your family some money at the grocery store, and have some goodies on your pantry shelf and just keep that stock up? So that's all I have to share today. Thanks for coming with me, and happy preparing your pantry and taking care of it where you are. I'll see you guys later.